Donald Trump has already lost control of the Iran situation. And that loss is now visible to American adversaries everywhere. This is not speculated, not debated, it's just seen. And that collapse is the starting point, not the conclusion here. So when I watched Trump's press conference, what stopped me wasn't outrage or shock. It was recognition. The feeling you get when someone is speaking confidently, but the ground beneath them, it's just already gone. Like watching a general give orders after the map has been taken off the table. Something had already slipped, and he was talking as if it didn't. So Trump was asked directly. He was asked directly about the United States military buildup in the Middle East and whether it signaled imminent strikes on Iran. His answer didn't land anywhere. It just drifted. First, Iran had been given a deadline. Then, Iran wanted a deal. Then Trump goes, maybe the strike wouldn't happen at all. And then when they try to press him further on whether Iran had been told this deadline directly, he said yes. And then when asked when he just waved it away. And then goes on to say, we'll just see how it all works out. Is that strategy, guys? That's not strategy. It wasn't strategy. That's exposure. And then he pivoted, not forward, but backward. He started talking about ships, fleets floating near Iran. He talks about strength and power. He said he rebuilt the United States military in his first term, said it was now bigger, stronger, better than ever before. And then he announced something that made the room feel a lot smaller. He started talking about battleships, not destroyers, not submarines, battleships. He described them as old-fashioned and beautiful, 100 times more powerful than those of the 1940s. I mean, one would hope, right? Then he goes 10 at first, maybe 15 or more he'll send later. Peace through strength. That was Trump's position. And it sounded like bringing a cavalry charge to a drone war, like insisting the musket still dominates the missile because it once ruled the battlefield. And Iran, what did they take away from this? They didn't hear nostalgia. I think Iran heard vulnerability, because this time Iran isn't treating Trump's words as a bluff. They've already lived through that last deception. In June of last year, Iranian officials were engaged in talks when Israeli airstrikes hit Iranian territory. Strikes that were carried out with American coordination while negotiations were still scheduled days later. Now, that moment rewired trust, as it should, because it's the geopolitical version of shaking someone's hand while checking whether your wallet is still there. You just don't forget it. And you don't assume good faith twice. Only a fool would do that. Now, since then, Iranian officials have been really explicit. If Iran is attacked again by the United States or Israel, which is pretty much the same thing at this point, the response will not be limited. It won't be symbolic. It's not going to be restrained. It will be existential. Now, inside Iran, this is framed as a survival threshold. It's not a dispute. They're not considering it a dispute, but a moment where the state believes it is being targeted for removal, which we all know it is. And when a country reaches that conclusion, well, deterrence, it stops being theoretical, doesn't it? So in an Iranian analyst speaking on Press TV the other day, he put it plainly as anybody could. He said Iran was surprised the last time, attacked in the middle of negotiations. And he further went on to say that that is not going to happen again. This time, Iranian is planning to ensure maximum casualties on the other side. He's talking specifically about American casualties. And that's not a soundbite. It was more like a ledger entry, a calculation, the kind states make when they believe war is being imposed on them, which it is. And the message didn't stop there. Any regional country hosting United States bases used in an attack would see its own infrastructure targeted in response. So, in other words, no spectators allowed. There are going to be no safe balconies. And that's not bravado on their part. That's deterrence logic. They have to take that position. It's just cold math at this point, and familiar to anyone who remembers how superpowers avoided direct wars for decades, not by goodwill, but by making escalation absolutely unbearable. It's like wiring a building so that pulling one fire alarm floods every floor. Now, here's where the situation gets even worse. As if it could, right? But because while Trump was reminiscing about battleships, Iran was getting something far more useful than rhetoric. They got a Chinese satellite company that released high-resolution imagery showing current United States military deployments across the region. These images were taken January 25th, 2026. And they show Patriot missile systems and their associated radar and support vehicles positioned at an air base in Qatar, the largest United States base in the Middle East. And at all of it, Iran knows where these bases are. So these are not going to be a revelation to them anymore. And the revelation of where everything is at this point, though, is posture. They have a position now. This imagery shows how assets are arranged. It's the difference between knowing where a castle is and seeing where the drawbridge is down. Now, between knowing the address and seeing which doors are unlocked, that's what it is tantamount to. And Trump handed Iran the context they needed. The mistake Washington keeps making is assuming Iran is Venezuela. It is not. Venezuela is centralized. Iran is distributed. Remove one leader and another steps forward. Kill a commander node, the network reroutes. This isn't a fragile tower. It's a web. So even if Iranian leadership were targeted, the state would not collapse. It would end up consolidating. And the retaliation would not be neat or containable. Iran's most sensitive military installations are buried deep underground, in some cases, thousands of feet below the surface, hardened within vast cave complexes. Over recent months, though, Iranian security services have also aggressively purged Israeli and American intelligence networks operating inside the country. And then there's the question that Trump never answers. If the United States believes it can neutralize Iran's nuclear or missile capabilities through precision strikes, it should first explain what happened to the 400 kilogram of highly enriched uranium Iran reportedly moved to secure locations last June. Because material like that doesn't just disappear, it relocates. So what do you think? Do I have this all right? Do I have it all wrong? Please put in the comment section below. I look forward to reading and replying to all of your guys' comments. And thank you again so much for watching me here on The Baseline.